Welcome to Three Films and a Podcast, the show where destiny brought together three friends to enhance each other's cinematic journey by watching three new movies in a series of themed rounds. There is no claim of ownership on any film footage used in this episode, as all film footage is owned in its entirety by the copyright holders. And just like every car in Too Fast, Too Furious, this podcast contains spoilers. Enjoy! Hello, everyone, and welcome to Three Films and a Podcast. My name is Ben Lawhorn, and I'm joined as always by my wonderful co-host Tyler and Matt. Hi, guys.
Hey, man. Ben.
Wonderful co-host now.
Wonderful co-host. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's a new year. Yep. Handing out raises over here. It's just time for the yearly review, and you've been wonderful. So wonderful co-host. Wow. Yeah, of course. It'd be fun to have to do a review based on both of you at the same time, not individual reviews, but just as a team, as a collective.
Numbers were down.
My audio's been struggling lately, so I'm sure I'm taking hits there.
Taking dings. For those of you new to the show, welcome to the movie club. For those of you returning, welcome back to the movie club. We are happy to have everyone here. We'd appreciate it if you tell all your friends and lovers and enemies and just everybody about the show. It'd be fantastic because we just like talking with people and, talking about movies and stuff like that. So, you can find us everywhere on the socials at Three Films Pod. Speaking of talking to people, we have our honey boy back. I'm so excited. Yes. I love it. I genuinely love that has kind of stuck as a nickname here on the pod. It's perfect.
I'm here for it. And I'm bringing it over to my podcast.
Yeah.
Every time you all are on.
I love it so much.
Love that.
John from Life's a Song. John, welcome back. Yeah. Say hi and tell everyone where they can find you and all that stuff and what you do.
So I have a musical-based podcast where I discuss musical movies and TV shows. And sometimes now we're branching into actual stage productions. It's called Life's But a Song. You can listen to it wherever you're listening to this. And all socials are at But a Song Pod. And then I also have the other podcast, Movie Deja Vu, which we are currently on hiatus, but figuring out schedules which are conflicting and everything, where my co-host and I compare similar movies or what we originally think are similar movies and sometimes fail miserably.
Oh, nice.
By creating a verbal Venn diagram of sorts. And
I like that.
That one is at Movie Deja Vu Pod for the Facebook and Instagram. And the Twitter is Twitter. I don't know how I feel about Twitter anymore. So
who knows?
None of us do. Yeah.
I barely use it to begin with.
In the current state it's in, it's just I feel like I'm going to log in one day. It's oh no, we're done. We shut this down last night. Okay, cool.
All your stuff is gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what's going to happen. Your pod is super fun. We've all been on there. These two wonderful co-hosts and fine gentlemen joined you for Purple Rain.
Yes.
And I came on to talk about Waiting for Guffman, which was Spinal Tap, Ron Chris Guest movie. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. It's fun to rewatch some of these movies. I don't know. And just look at it from the musical aspects instead of just oh, this is funny. It's this is actually pretty impressive, what they've done. So, and depending on when this comes out, I will be joining you for Second Chance.
Yeah. So I've been doing a series of episodes where I'm calling Second Chance Theater, where with a new guest, we are revisiting an old topic. So Matt and Tyler came on to do Purple Rain, which Ben was heartbroken about.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Ben, I'm doing this thing. Let's do it. And he was and I feel like he was just a kid in a candy store, yay!
Yeah.
I get to talk about Purple Rain.
That's pretty spot on reenactment.
I was kind of confused. I was like, wait, I thought we did Purple Rain with John, but that makes total sense. Cool.
Yeah, because Ben is the new guest to talk about
That's right.
the topic. And I feel like Ben is the one that actually picked it out of the three of you. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think it was me that was we should come on for Purple Rain. And then I couldn't go on. So it's you guys should go on for Purple Rain. But I'm excited. I rewatched it for us to chat, and it still holds up. It's 80s perfection without a doubt. So,
absolutely.
But we're here to talk about a different movie that has music kind of in it.
Look at this segue, fucking segue. You're a professional. We're wrapping up our stop motion animation round tonight. Matt, I believe it was your selection, right? That theme for this month.
It was. It was inspired by. I mean, I thought at the time there was a number of stop motion projects that were coming out, but primarily I kind of just shoehorned this in for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Got it.
Perfect.
To time it right.
Great pronunciation.
And I thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Guillermo del Toro.
Oscar winner.
That's right.
Oscar
Guillermo del
winner.
Toro's Pinocchio.
Exactly. Yeah.
I still haven't seen it though. Is it good? Like good?
So from an animation standpoint and like artistic standpoint, definitely worth checking out. If you don't like the Pinocchio story, it may be a miss for you, but
did you just say Pinocchio Storio? I hope you just said Pinocchio Storio.
I think he did unintentionally, but I loved it.
We're leaving it.
The Pinocchio Storio. I love it so much.
That's the idea for a new pod. Pinocchio Storio. Pinocchio Storio.
Did a lot.
Which is interesting because like the Disney live action remake of Pinocchio came out like months apart from the Guillermo del Toro one. So yeah. Still haven't seen that one either. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, we've missed out on that one too. I think it's the right way to say it. I don't know. We haven't been made to watch it yet. I liked it. It's just, it's Del Toro. If you've seen Pan's Labyrinth, if you've seen any of his stuff, he's like, it's like he loves the universal monsters, like horror stuff. So yeah, you can't expect the old 40s Pinocchio, but it's amazing what they were able to accomplish. So so we talked about that. Last week we talked about Marcel. And tonight we are talking about Kubo and the Two Strings, a movie that has just been in my queue. I mean, this came out in 2016 and it's safe to say it's probably been in the queue since then. It's like, I really want to see that. And I just like never got around to it. So I was super happy when Matt nominated this subject. So this is from Laika Studios, probably one of the more popular stop motion studios. They've done Coraline, which is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, like Coraline is amazing. They've also done Paranorman, Missing Link, and Box Trolls, all of which, I mean, nothing really lives up to Coraline out of that group, but super impressive what they do. So tonight we're doing 2016's Kubo and the Two Strings, which is actually the feature film debut of the lead animator and CEO of Laika. His name's Travis Knight. So this is his first time kind of taking it on. I'm trying to picture like Jason Blum directing a movie or something. You know what I mean? It's just like I wonder what that's like. I mean, I guess you could probably do it. You've seen enough of them, So, so this is Travis Knight. He also, I just have to shout out Bumblebee. That was his second feature film, the Transformers kind of spin-off, whatever. Actually, legitimately a great movie. Like it's not Michael Bay at all. It's actually really, really good. Haley Steinfeld's in it and she's fantastic. So
that's high praise.
It's really good. And those are the only two features that he's done. But we are here to talk about the stop motion one. We were here to talk about Charlize Theron playing an Asian person. Have just Emma Stone part 2, basically.
And Matthew McConaughey.
We will definitely chat about that.
And the kid who played Kubo.
Oh, I didn't even really look at him. Yeah,
he's a white kid.
That's fair.
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes and Rooney Mara.
He's a chameleon. He could play Jean Grey. Ray Fiennes can do anything, so he could do whatever.
I had a side bet. When Ray Fiennes as Jean Grey would be mentioned in this podcast.
Nice.
Over and under was 10 minutes. I took the over, so I lost, but
damn it.
Yeah, we're just over 9 right now. So you got to get it out early though. You know what I mean? Kubo, the tagline on it for IMDb, a young boy named Kubo must locate a magical suit of armor worn by his late father in order to defeat a vengeful spirit from the past. This is a spoiler pod. We say it at the very beginning. It's really interesting to find out who the, vengeful spirit is and the reasoning behind it. I thought that was kind of cool, but we've already mentioned some of this cast: Charlize, McConaughey, Ray Fiennes, all great people. Just like it's interesting to think of them like this is, it takes place in Japan, right? Like it's like supposed to be, if I remember correctly.
I don't think it ever specifically says Japan, but I mean, just based on like the story, the animation, and the mention of samurai, it's like pretty clearly Japan.
It places it in feudal Japan. Yeah.
And the kid who voiced Kubo, his name is Art Parkinson. People may know him from Game of Thrones as Riken Stark.
Oh, okay. One of the Starks.
He's the kid that can't zigzag. He gets shot by Ramsay.
Yeah, that's right. Super mop top. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And he was also in a movie called I Killed Giants. So
sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Sweet. There you go.
Thank you, IMDb.
Thank you for your service.
Not a Japanese.
Yeah, most notably. And I mean, maybe my favorite small role here, George Takei is also in it, giving his classic "Oh my," which is like, I don't know, the highlight.
Why couldn't he have done the McConaughey role?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no real
or the Ray Fiennes role.
Seriously, he would have been great. So yeah, anyways, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Kubo. This is the first time watch for me. I'm curious for you guys if it had been a first watch for you, what your feelings were, all that kind of stuff. John, as our guest, I'm throwing to you first. Had you seen this before? If so, how was your first experience with it, and how was this one?
I saw this in theaters.
Oh, okay.
All right. It blew my mind because I grew up watching the Rankin and Bass stop motion, and I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if I watched Coraline before or after this movie. It's a little hazy at this moment, but I saw this in theaters and loved the concept. I believe I cried during it. So, it's just amazing. And then
that's no, you did. I was there.
yeah. So, but I honestly don't think I rewatched it since then.
Okay.
So the fact that when you guys did do your Instagram post being like, these are the movies that were coming up, who wants to be a guest? I was like, fuck yes, I want to talk about. Sorry, Steve. I do want to talk about Kubo and the Two Strings because I don't know if a lot of people know about this movie.
Yeah, I don't even really know where I saw it there, or had it come across where it's I really need to check that out. But as I said earlier, I was excited for the chance to finally be able to do that.
And this was 2016. You said it came out.
I think so. Yeah, let me double check. But because it came out in 2016.
Yeah. So around this time, I was going to the movies a lot. So
nice.
I was just seeing anything,
which is awesome. That's great.
It's the dream.
Yeah.
Let's see. This was nominated for Academy Awards in 2017 for Best Animated Feature Film.
Yeah.
And Best Achievement in Visual Effects, which is kind of rad. I don't even think, did Pinocchio even get visual effects this year? I don't even think it got nominated.
I don't think it did.
I know Avatar won, but I don't even think it got. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Anyways, Matt, with this being your round nomination for stop motion, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Kubo.
Yeah, I gravitate towards animated features, particularly stop motion. I love seeing stop or animation in the different styles, different mediums. And I believe I saw this in theater as well. I can also say that
we went together, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yes.
You cried together. It was so cute.
I undoubtedly cried during this. But so my wife's mom passed away at a very young age. And so that type of sentimentality always tends to get me. It gets her and then it gets me residually. And so I love the concept of the story. And I just remember being, even still on the second watch, like you, John, I don't think I watched it again until this time.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes I'm watching, I'm like, there's no way that this is stop motion. This is done so cleanly and so smooth and well. It really is insane. Whereas part of, to draw a comparison to the way Guillermo del Toro did his, I think part of his was there's a stop motion aesthetic that you obviously can accomplish by making it a little more choppier or maybe have some textures that are thrown in there. This one kind of leaned the opposite way where they made it so realistic.
Yeah.
Almost like a Michelangelo's David type thing where you're seeing, in that statue, you see the veins and the muscles and stuff. And it feels like it could come to life. And I felt like Kubo's very much that way, where it's the hair blowing in the wind and the way, water's done. And I don't know if they did cross over some CGI or not. Maybe they did. I didn't really look into it, but so much of this just looked, they did.
Yeah, you could tell definitely, especially with the boat. There's like, when it reforms, you could tell that that's a lot of that is CGI. Like you can't physically do that with the leaves and everything.
Maybe you can't.
Well, I can. You're right. I can't.
I tried. I can't.
Lord knows I can't.
No, but yeah, I mean, I love the artistry of it. And I always really loved this movie. I remember what did it lose to? Did it win Best Animated Feature?
No, it lost. It didn't. The IMDb didn't say what one. I can look it up though. Zootopia.
Oh, yeah. A movie about racism is going to win over this one.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I'm surprised I was up against Moana. I thought Moana would take it. Kubo, My Life as a Zucchini, and The Red Turtle, which is the only one of these I haven't heard of. But yeah, Zootopia won.
Interesting. That's a good animation year.
Good.
That was a good year, actually.
Zootopia's good. I like it. But yeah, I enjoyed Kubo. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it.
I just love also all the textures that Kubo has.
Yeah. That's what you have.
You have paper with origami. You have fabric. You have clay. It's got to be clay, right? Like some of the elements, like the hair and everything. And the leaves, which I think are real leaves, or like paper leaves or something. Like it's beautifully done.
I loved the origami and the paper in this so much. Every time Hanzo, the little paper samurai, would when he was like going in that crack in the wall when he was there searching for the armor, every time he would flatten out and fly through the crack, I was just like, I could just watch. I hope he does that every 10 minutes in this movie. I loved it so much. I just thought it was so clever and so cool. And similar to you, Ben, this is one that's been like floating around in my mind for a while. Like, I don't remember the first time I heard about this movie. I don't know how it was introduced into my brain, but it's just been kind of floating around in there forever. And it's just one that I've never gotten around to. And it's interesting having watched Pinocchio right before this. My biggest complaint with Pinocchio is I just couldn't figure out the tone of it. You know what I mean? It just for some reason just couldn't land with me, and the tone just never really made sense to me. But this movie, Kubo, on the other hand, was like, it just nailed it for me. You know what I mean? Just like the tone was just perfect to me. It felt accessible for everyone of essentially any age, you know, like the action was really cool and interesting. The story was interesting but easy to follow. I don't know. It just was like just a good family meal. You know, like I don't know. It was just kind of perfect to me. I was just like, this is kind of a perfect movie. Like if you can get past the voice casting, like we don't need to litigate that too much. I know like when they adapted the Kurosawa movies, they used all like white American voices. Like maybe I have no idea. Maybe it was one of those sorts of things. Maybe in other markets there was different voice actors. I doubt it, but I have no idea.
Look, we're not guilty for enjoying it. They're guilty for casting it.
Yeah, it's like they were great. Like I love Charlize and I love Matthew McConaughey, but
I mean, if it was just Charlize is the only white person,
sure,
we would. I mean, I feel like it would be like we would all feel a little better liking it because, like, you know, as just the one non-person of color or non-Asian person, I feel like that's fine. Or like Matthew McConaughey was the one, you know, if it was just one,
sure,
or especially since like the three leads are all white people. You're like, come on.
Yeah.
And like nobody really knows that kid. So like you could have cast anybody for that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like the lead of the movie, like it could have been anyone. Could have been anyone, you know. We don't, but I know, putting that aside, like I don't know, I felt like this movie was kind of perfect. You know, it's not like my favorite movie I've ever seen, but it's just like I don't know what really more you could ask from a movie. You know what I mean? Like it's engaging, it was beautiful, it's clever, it had things I've never seen before, while at the same time being like a very familiar story. And having said that, like the story itself felt very familiar until the way it wraps up is unique. It in my opinion, like it's unique to anything I've ever seen. Just sort of the way it resolves and the way that the conflict is resolved was interesting and cool. And so I don't know, man. I had a blast with this one. I'm glad we finally got around to watching it. And I just think it's interesting that a movie like this can, like you said, Ben, just kind of be floating around. And it's just like you don't really hear a lot about it, but I don't know.
You're aware of it.
That's just kind of weird to me.
Yeah. No, I think that totally makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I think I had a pretty good time with this movie. I wasn't like blown away by the story or anything like that. Like I wasn't even necessarily like invested in what was happening. It was more just like, man, this is a technological feat, like what they did here is amazing. But yeah, it's like the story's whatever. And I just got thinking about it basically in relation to our other two episodes for this theme, where it's like Marcel and Pinocchio, I feel like had more story where I cared what happened. Whereas with Kubo, I was like, I really don't give a shit. Like, I hope he lives, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, I'm not really like, yeah, cool, whatever, but yeah, I mean, I thought obviously it's extremely well done. That opening part of him, like the opening, how we meet him is really kind of cool. Like we understand the importance somehow of like, he needs to be home by sundown kind of thing. And we're kind of shown that instead of told that, which I think is always great. And then I like that scene at the market or whatever it is, where he puts the paper out there and tells the story with the guitar. It was just so cool to see that. And it's another thing where it's just like no real explanation. That's just like a magic guitar and he can control origami with it. Like, okay, cool. Great. No questions. Like, let's keep going. So yeah, I thought that was like really cool. The cast they did a good job. It was weird, like you said, like if it had just been one person, I probably wouldn't have noticed it. But I got thinking actually about the Miyazaki stuff. I was like, is this an adaptation or like, is it? I don't know, but I feel like it got promoted with Charlize and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't think so.
So I was reading the IMDb trivia because that's what I do all the time. Apparently it's it's inspired by a manga called, and I'm going to mess up this name, GGG no Kitaro, where the main character goes along with like Japanese folklore and there's ghosts and everything. So if you read the Wikipedia page on it, you were like, oh, I can see where the inspirations for like the eyes in the under the sea, or the skeleton creature, or the twins, the sisters.
Yeah.
Creepy as fuck.
Super creepy. Which honestly might be my favorite casting, with that being Rooney Mara. Yeah. Like I thought she did a great job as the sisters. Like she was so good. But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm glad, just like every time, I'm glad that we watched this. I'm glad to have seen it now. I think again, like obviously the technical side of it behind the scenes is just mind blowing. One of my favorite trivia thing out of this is I guess they built like the largest stop motion thing ever, and it's that skeleton that's in this. It was actually like 18 feet tall, like in real life.
Wow.
Which is just, it's like absurd. Cause again, it feels like a thing like, oh yeah, you could shoot like a 3-foot one and then just like make it bigger in post kind of thing. But it's like, no, we're making an 18-foot one. It's like,
but even like at the end of the movie, when you see them speed up making it, it's only like half the body and it's like 6 feet tall or 7 feet tall. So
it was crazy. Yeah, so cool. So I enjoyed all that stuff. Again, I'm glad that I watched it. It's not, it probably wouldn't make like my Rushmore of stop motion. And while I still liked it, it's probably like on the bottom of what we did for this round. But just like, I don't know, I'm excited. I'm glad that they still make this stuff, because it is such a time consuming medium. And it feels really hit or miss. Like if they get their money back, like that's the other thing about this, is this was the first Laika movie to not make $100 million. I think it came in at 73, and then really kind of fell off with the next one with Missing Link, which only brought in like 23 million, which is, kind of a bummer. So it's nice to know though that at least like Netflix will still, give Guillermo the bag and let him make his story and stuff like that. Cause this stuff is always just like so impressive to watch. But for now, my weird review aside, if I was trying to recommend this to someone, obviously I would need like my elevator pitch, my scene to show them. The concept behind this is if you are stuck in an elevator and someone's asking what you're watching, what would you show them from this movie to get them to check it out?
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
And I kind of went over mine just recently. It's the skeleton fight, and I think it has a lot to do with the scale of it, the literal scale, and just how impressive it is. I think that's what I would show for mine. But really, any of these scenes, like the stuff that they do, we talked about it even with Pinocchio. I think we had to shut the door twice or something like that. I think there's a scene here where he goes to pick up one of the pieces of paper and doesn't, has to reach back down and get it. I love that shit. I love the very intentional. We took another 3 days and made him pick it up twice, because that adds to the story. So there's always just that kind of stuff to appreciate about this. And to me, the skeleton fight really just kind of hits home with that, with just how amazing it is with the scale. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what your guys' elevator pitch would be for this movie. Tyler, I'm gonna throw it to you.
Yeah, I this one was I don't know. I just loved when we meet the sisters by the river. That whole sequence, I had actually had a different scene picked out that comes before this. But then when I saw this, I was like, that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, especially in a stop motion.
Yeah,
I just loved the way that they were introduced. I loved the set design, the character design, their cool masks, just the way that the wind sweeps down the river and blows out all the floating lanterns, and just the tone shifts so immediately. And I don't know, it was really cool and really creepy, but I don't know, really interesting, cool stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say about it, but I just was I was really blown away by the sisters. And I think one of the reasons I liked it so much is because I didn't really expect it, up until this point, the movie was pretty light. This is the first time that the tone really shifts. We hear about the Moon King and we know it's about samurais, but and we assume there's going to be some sort of violence and some sort of conflict and some sort of action. We don't really know what. And once we see this, we kind of get a glimpse oh, okay. It definitely has a specific tone and a specific vibe that it's going for with these enemies. Right.
Yeah.
And they just seem so menacing and creepy and cool. And I feel if I were to try to convince someone to watch this movie, I would want them to see this movie's going to do some really cool stuff like this. And it might not be quite what you expect.
What's also interesting about that scene is that you don't know that they're twins right away.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You hear the two voices, but there's only one body. And then all of a sudden the other body just slides out.
Mm-hmm.
So when they float across the river.
Yeah.
Mouth's not moving while they're talking.
That is a good scene to
that was the scene that sold me. I was into the movie and I saw that and I was like, oh shit. Okay, this is going to be pretty cool. And turns out it was.
That's a great pick. It was. Matt, how about you?
Oh man. I love both the scenes where Kubo's playing his, strumming his thing and the paper's doing its thing.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do we watch a different movie that's strumming his thing? Come on.
Kubo. Kubo.
It's called a shamisen.
A shamisen. Oh, cool.
Shamisen. That was the word I was looking for.
Thing.
Tip of my tongue.
Yeah. But I really liked the second time, I guess the second main time that he does it, where I guess to tell those of you listening a little bit about the story, at a certain point, both of Kubo's parents have passed on, and he finds himself on an adventure with a giant cockroach who is the manifestation of his father, and a monkey who is the manifestation of his mother. And
God, I hope your listeners stopped it before this moment.
Did you guys know instantly that was his dad?
I think the first time, I think I knew that. It felt that way.
They kind of string you into it, I feel like, yeah. But anyway, so just to give a little context, there's a scene where he's now with his monkey mom and his cockroach dad, and he's hearing a certain story for the first time, and the monkey's telling it. And I don't know, I don't know if I don't know what my reaction to the scene was the first time I saw it, but for whatever reason, like every single joke along here was just landing for me. Maybe they're dumb jokes, but like there's a part where the monkey's like, and then your father said like the 4 most important words to me, and he was like, "I love you, monkey."
Monkey. Yeah,
And
that's so good.
for some reason, I thought that was so funny.
These words changed everything.
I love you. Monkey?
But anyways, and back to like my true type of elevator pitch. I just thought about like how insane this scene was. Like this monkey's telling a story, the kid's playing a guitar, there's a giant cockroach, and it's like this. Nothing like this is in any other movie.
Yeah.
And so I would show that to someone, just like this, story being told to music with a monkey, a cockroach, and a little boy with a guitar, or whatever that was called. His thing.
Shamisen.
Yeah. Yep.
Shamisen. And I could be messing it up.
No, it was spot
Let
on.
us know in the comments if you're hearing us pronounce that. Yeah, right in.
John, what's your elevator pitch?
And see, I picked the other scene where it's earlier in the film where he basically tells the story of Hanzo, who is his dad.
Nice.
And he's telling this to the villagers because like that is the movie right there. Yeah. So as a true elevator pitch, it'd be like, oh, this scene, everyone, like, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
He's going to find these. And so, yeah, because like he lays it out perfectly for you where it's like you have to find the sword first, and then you get the armor, and then you get the helmet, and then but Kubo leaves it up in the air because he's got to go home. But like, yeah, you've I guess it to like give you just the taste of it. So this way you don't, because this way, if you just watch that scene, you honestly don't know what's going to happen after. You can get a sense that Kubo's going to find those items, but you don't know for what.
Yeah.
At that moment.
Yeah.
Well, that was my elevator pitch until the sisters came out for sort of the same reasons, because I couldn't possibly get enough of him animating the origami with his guitar. I thought that was so cool and so clever. I've never seen anything like that before. Yeah. And I just was like, if this is what this movie is giving me, like, I'm in. And then the sisters come in and it's like, okay, let's go. But that's such a good scene.
That scene also tells you that we're in a world of magic.
Yeah.
Like it's real. These people are more into the story, and obviously they're dazzled by the origami and the flying paper and everything, but like nobody is going, witch, burn him or something, you know?
Right.
So that, I mean,
there's one character in the background doing it. That's Matt's favorite character. He's like, yes, burn this child right now.
I mean, from the get, we the audience understand that there's magic in the world, but like, the fact that that scene like really solidifies it, I feel like that also helps with to set up the rest of the movie, that like, oh, he's going to use magic. Maybe there's creatures, maybe there's, other magical beings or something. So I feel like that scene leaves a new audience member wanting more.
Yeah,
totally.
I think it's awesome. And you talk about like, obviously he's going to be looking for these 3 things, at the end of the story. We're kind of like led on to believe that. And I'm realizing now this is like Kubo and the Deathly Hallows. Like it's him going to look for like,
totally.
his, like, I don't know, his wand and all that stuff. So
to take on Ray Fiennes at the end.
Yeah. Again, to take on Ray Fiennes. Yes. Look at that. Look at that connection. That's amazing. Well, I've got some good news. Our buddy, Adam Driver, star of the movie 65. He got a hold of us, and he's going to be putting on a double feature at his drive-in, at the Adam Driver Drive-In.
I just had sex. I'm about to eat nachos. It's the greatest moment of my life.
And he decided to show Kubo, but he's left it up to all of us to come up with the movie we're going to pair it with. I know it's a tall order, but this is the least we could do for our friend. Our really good friend, Adam Driver, friend of the pod. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. I know this is a little last minute, but what would you guys pair with Kubo at your drive-in double feature, and in which order would you show them? John?
I'm going to go old school. I'm going to go OG on this. and I'm going to pair it with The Wizard of Oz.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Because they are basically the same. And
for a second, I thought you were doing like Will Ferrell old school. I was like, okay, hell yeah.
No. I mean,
you're my boy, Will.
Vince Vaughn. Let's do this.
I mean, part of me also wanted to like break your rules and say, we're going to watch all of Avatar, The Last Airbender, this series, not the movie because the movie doesn't exist. But
we'll lock everyone into the drive-in, lock the gates,
yeah.
so you all have to sit here and watch this.
Yeah, but so I'm going to pick The Wizard of Oz, and I feel like it could go either way. Like, it'll be enjoyable whichever one you want to start with.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I think it's a great call. So much so that was also my pick. So now I'm going to be thinking of something else while Matt and Tyler go. So
you could pick The Wiz if you want.
Hey, yeah, little MJ. Tyler, what's your double feature?
This movie has some weird parallels to one of my favorite movies of all time, something that we were able to introduce to Mr. Lawhorn on the podcast not too long ago, The Fellowship of the Rings.
Okay.
Someone going on an unwilling adventure and gathering a crew and, all that sort of, there's a really cool scene with some evil and magic by a river, which Lord knows I'm a big fan of. So that is probably my pick, but if we want to keep like an animation thing, I'll also allow the animated Lord of the Rings. But
the Rankin and Bass.
That's generous of you.
It's very nice.
What's that, John?
Is that the Rankin and Bass one? Yes.
Is it? Oh, nice.
They did the original Lord of the Fellowship of the Rings.
Okay.
And then the Return of the King.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay.
We'll cover it out on my podcast. That's
So I don't know. I guess we'll let the audience decide one of those Lord of the Rings things, but I don't know. It just made me want to watch Fellowship, but I kind of always want to watch Fellowship. So I don't know.
Any reason
we'll just
you can
say
find
Lord of the Rings in general.
I like it. The extended trilogy after Avatar.
That's right. You're never leaving this drive-in.
You can never leave. Matt, what would you pick for your double feature?
I think there's some obvious parallels to the movie Coco in regards to a kid, going to some spiritual, supernatural world. And obviously with the focus being on family and ancestry and all that, I think would be a great pairing. And also I just like, I like the Mexican culture being, on full display with Coco. Luckily they handled their casting business very well. And then
Disney's learned.
Yeah. They've learned and now they're blazing the trail with with it. So, but I liked the Japanese stuff in this one as well. I think those are two cool backdrops to tell these stories on.
And that almost makes the voice casting more disappointing, right? Because everything else that was Japanese in this was so well represented. I felt like it was
because it feels half done. It's like go all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally agree.
Like how many kids were showing up for McConaughey? Like I don't know, you had to have him, as the dad.
Well, and it's
I was gonna say we also have to remember the Scarlett Johansson led Ghost in the Shell is only a year after this one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
very true.
Yeah. That blew up. Yeah. But so McConaughey, like I didn't look at the voice cast prior to watching this, and I didn't recall it from the first time I had seen it. So it took me until the first like very distinct inflection in McConaughey's voice. But at first I was like, who is this? Who is this voicing this guy? And so it's like clearly his voice isn't enough to like create that character. Like the character did not need McConaughey's voice for anything. So it loses nothing by changing the voice cast up. Maybe it loses a few $1 million. I don't know, because of the way they marketed it. I'm playing Coco first because I feel like it has a better emotional payoff that might help you appreciate Kubo more through a different lens. And so I'm leading with Coco, and then I'm going into Kubo.
That's great. Have them crying into Kubo.
Yeah, exactly. Buckle up, kids.
Keep hold of your tissue boxes, everyone.
Yeah,
hey, I'm not playing the witch. I'm not playing the witch
true.
this time.
That is very true. All right, so in thinking about this stuff, I mean, Wizard of Oz was also like the first one I went to. I'm like, oh, that's a great representation of like entering another land and running into characters kind of based on people in your real life, and going on this adventure. And I think I found somewhat of a parallel there where, you know, our protagonist enters a kind of a folk tale of sorts, a story of sorts, kind of goes on an adventure to help save the day. And I think I haven't seen it in such a long time, but I think I'm going to go with Neverending Story. I think it'd be kind of
like
sorry, Artax. Never forget.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know. That is kind of sad. I didn't really think about that side of it, but yeah, I don't know. I remember liking that movie. If I remember right, like he runs into people based off of people in the real world or something like that. I don't know exactly, but just seems like a fun adventure, kind of taking place within the story, which is kind of what we get with Kubo, where we hear the folklore, and then he kind of has to go experience it himself. So I think it'd be kind of an interesting pairing, another form of animation with all, you know, the puppetry and things like that they had in Neverending Story.
Falcor is impressive.
Yeah, right. It's very cool. And I guess in retrospect kind of looks like what Grandpa turns into. So it's just kind of like we'll roll from one to the other. But yeah, I'd probably do Neverending Story first, and then we'll show Kubo after that. That's
again, hold on to your tissue boxes, everyone.
Hold on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, all those are great picks. I would watch all of those movies.
I would like to give an honorable mention to Spirited Away.
Okay.
I feel like that would also pair well with this.
Yeah, that's a really good call.
Good one. Yeah.
I like that. I know Tyler will be there for the Miyazaki shows without a doubt. I mean, we all would, but yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's all hop on Falcor and let's head over to our Rushmore Mountain.
Yeah!
Let's do it. Yeah. I'm really excited to cut that in here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ben's going to totally throw that in there.
Wait, can we sync up and do like a freeze frame?
So we all just do a freeze frame, like ready, 1, 2,
Yeah!
Perfect. And we got the thumbnail for the episode. So I mean,
you're doing great, everyone.
We're doing awesome. Everything's good. I decided to go maybe a little more obscure with the Rushmore here. I thought about doing it based on, you know, old folklore, old stories, or whatever. But I thought, you know what, one of my favorite things about this was that we just had like some evil twins in it. Like it was just kind of a cool aspect to me. So I want to do twins in movies. They don't have to be evil. Obviously they can if you would like them to be, but we're going to do like a twins Rushmore Mountain.
These are OR scrubs. Oh, are they?
And John, are you prepared for this? Do you want to go first?
Okay, so I'm going to kind of break the rules, and it's not technically twins, but one person does play two people, and I'm going with the Parent Trap.
Hell yeah.
Because Lindsay Lohan plays the Lohan one. I haven't really seen the original one, so I can't judge that one.
What's her name? Haley Mills? Is that the first, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I got it.
Because like recently, even like on the SNL recently with Jenna Ortega hosting, they did make a joke about like the Parent Trap and like parents. A lot of people in our generation, my gen, I don't know if we're the same age. Whatever, you know, a lot of people who grew up in the 90s remember that one. So yeah,
that's a great call.
Not technically actual twins, but like a movie.
But in the movie, they're twins. Yeah,
they're twins to me.
Yeah. Well, on screen twins. I don't care if they're twins behind the scenes.
I feel like a lot lot thought it was twins for a while, and then they realized, oh no, it's just Lindsay Lohan.
Because we're coming out of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, you know.
Yeah.
True. Yes.
Which I'm switching mine to New York Minute.
New York Minute. Oh, I would love that.
Not their younger stuff when it was direct to video.
Yeah, Matt, what would be your pick? What is your Rushmore selection?
For whatever reason, and this is the reason why I stuck with this answer. Anytime I think about twins in movies, I think of Ben Stiller and Cable Guy.
Okay.
Just that ongoing joke making fun of the murder trial that was going on during that time.
Okay. I was like, how is there twins in the case? Okay, I remember now. Gotcha.
So it's so stupid. I mean, but anyway, that's what I always think of. So that's my answer, just because that's where my mind always goes. But honorable mention to Star Wars, Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that those should be switched,
Skywalkers,
but we're not going to. Like Star Wars should be the real answer, and Cable Guy should be the honorable mention.
No, it's Cable Guy.
Yeah, it's all Cable Guy.
It's Cable Guy.
Matt's going with his gut choice, everyone.
Yeah, I love that a lot. It's great.
And we should judge him a little bit, but not a lot.
Not a lot. Just a fair amount.
Let me know in the comments.
Tyler, what gets your twins Rushmore?
I mean, for me, the first thing that pops in my head when I think twins is The Shining.
Nice.
Even before I had seen it, that would have been my answer. Also, Mary and Pippin pop in my head, but they're not really twins. I just think of them as twins.
Yeah,
but
me too.
I don't know. I'm gonna burst your bubble, Tyler. They're not twins. The Grady sisters.
In the movie, they're not twins.
They never specify in the movie. In the book, they're not twins.
Oh, interesting.
Oh. Well, I don't read books. I don't care about that. I'm a philosopher.
We don't know how to read here.
This isn't a book podcast.
I also understand your parallel because they're creepy as fuck, as is. I'm sorry, Steve, again. I'm going to just... I have no filter. Because they are similar to the sisters in Kubo.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. I like that.
No,
1,000% agree with your choice.
Thank you.
Even though I burst your bubble.
I had another one that I really wanted to do, but revealing that there's twins involved spoils the entire movie.
I know which one you're going to say. And I was like, no one's going to say this.
Like, how do we don't really necessarily need to protect a however old movie. So if you don't want to know how this movie ends and you're listening or watching, please cover your ears. But obviously,
or skip forward 30 seconds.
Yeah. We're talking about The Prestige. Really cool twin reveal, but it also it matters immensely that they're twins, but we don't find out till the very end. So it's but so we'll go with The Shining because not a spoiler. And welcome back if you skipped the spoiler there.
Welcome back. It makes me wonder. I mean, I know obviously the definition of twins is, but could I pick Multiplicity? I mean, those are all kind of twins of Michael Keaton, right? Is a clone a twin? I don't know if that counts or not. In theory, it is, right?
Bye, Steve. Come party. I like Steve.
Or do you want to pick the movie Twins?
I mean, that's the first thing I thought of. It was Arnold and DeVito. That one's a classic.
For sure.
I'll throw both of those as an honorable mention. If you haven't seen Multiplicity, go see it. It's just one of Michael Keaton's best.
Spitting on bugs.
Just spitting on bugs. Great party, Steve. I'm gonna go with indie film called Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
I've never heard of this one.
Yeah, it's a little tiny film. I'll send you a link to it. I got to download.
Great.
Bootleg.
Awesome. Thank you.
But this is the one I'm picking this one because this is where the Weasley twins open up the store. I forget what it's called, the Wizard Wheezes or whatever.
Yeah,
Weasley Whizzing Whizbags or something like that.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's something along those lines. But it's the one where Fred and George open their store. Kind of plays into the rest of the story. Obviously, you could pick any of these movies, and they're there. But I feel like that the fact that they're twins and whatever plays the most here in Half-Blood Prince. So yeah.
I just had a really dark thought about Deathly Hallows Part 2 being your actual selection.
I know. I thought, it's I didn't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, but yeah. So that'd be my pick. I'm going to go with the Half-Blood Prince, but
love it.
Yeah, again, check out Multiplicity, or was it Star Wars? Is that how you pronounce it, Matt? Was that the other?
No S. Oh wait, yeah, there is an
one
S. Yeah.
One S. Okay.
One S.
So check out those honorable mentions. Is there anything else that you guys like to talk about with Kubo and the two strings? I feel like
I want to know how everyone thought about the ending of the film. Okay, so obviously we didn't really talk about it because we're dancing around spoilers. So now, again, spoiler alert. If you've lasted this long, though, you signed up for this.
Yeah.
So Kubo defeats the grandfather, he makes him mortal, but then the whole town makes him like accepts him as their own. And I was just like, this is a little weird of a shift, but like also it kind of goes with with like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like I was kind of kidding before, but like no, I'm like serious because the whole I don't know if you guys have watched the series Avatar: The Last Airbender, but the whole time our lead character Aang, an 11-year-old boy who is all powerful because he can control all the elements, is told he has to kill this one person. But Aang is a monk and he's told to like, you know, forgive and like also murder is bad and all that.
Kill him with kindness.
He has this turmoil throughout the whole series about, oh God, I have to kill this one person, but like I can't literally kill him.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what happens here, but like also it's weird that the whole town is like, you're a nice person. We love you. You're our favorite. And I don't know. What did you guys think about that?
It was a real sharp turn for sure. It was just like, oh, okay. I guess you guys are all just wonderful people because I'd be like, wait, no, this guy's been fucking with us for years. You guys are just like, it's all right. He was cool.
I feel like it would have helped if they had like sort of set up that some type of illusion earlier on that they might do something like that to like give him make him feel humanity. I feel like what made it feel sort of like random and off-putting was that like all of a sudden they're gaslighting him to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Which is like,
right.
Okay. All right. That's kind of weird. But maybe if it had established itself earlier, then it's like, oh, this is what they're doing. It makes sense. This is going to work. Because there's kind of like a doubt that it's going to work, right? Yeah.
Because in a way, though, he is the only living relative that Kubo has. And Kubo is 11. 10, 11 years old. So like he does need some sort of adult supervision.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
But like, I don't know. I don't remember how I felt originally, but like this time around watching it, I was just like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly noticed. I was like, oh, okay. Like that's not where I thought it was going to go, but that's kind of what I liked about it. It was so unexpected. And to be honest, I kind of just chalked it up as like, this is like a kid's movie. You know, at the end of the day, like they're trying to like teach kids to be nice to people and forgive. You know what I mean? So I was just like,
seeing the best in somebody and
yeah. Like, so to me, it was unexpected and it caught me off guard, but it didn't bother me. And I didn't have anything smarter to say about it other than just like, I don't know, it's for kids. So that's fine. You know, I don't know.
Like,
my biggest worry is, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like don't judge someone on their worst day, even if their worst day is a decade long. You know, you just gotta give them another shot. So
my thought just went to like, okay, what happens like a week from now when he remembers some of these things?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
He looks at the moon. He's like, wait a minute.
It's like, wait a second.
I think. Where are my twin daughters? What's going on?
Turns out one of the sisters is actually alive, and it's like, oh, okay.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's the other thing too. Like, you don't see anyone really get murdered. You see, like, the Matthew McConaughey reaction to being stabbed, but you don't see the actual stabbing happening. Or like, I mean, we do see the claw like chain thing go into the monkey.
And Kubo, we see Kubo like chopping up the big dragon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Like
I think creature.
Like, what if at the end of Endgame they just like brainwashed Thanos into thinking that he was like a good guy and like, you're a hero now?
Yeah,
he's like,
I'm into it.
Okay,
give me that.
Right, I am.
So they did the time heist, and now they're like, we're gonna brainwash you.
Yeah. No, you're cool.
You're an Avenger now.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, they have the character to do it. Wanda could do it. She could get in there,
right? Get Mantis to slow him down, and
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could just combine their powers, man. Someone call Marvel.
Us, we'll call Marvel.
One thing I wanted to shout out was I was very pleasantly surprised with the end credits song I always love when end credits end with a banger, and I heard the version come on just like the music of While My Guitar Gently Weeps with like a Japanese twist to it. And then, Regina Spektor coming on the vocals. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I look at you all, see the love there that's sleeping.
Yeah.
It was really
because
good.
I think they used the same instrument, the shamisen, for.
Oh, really?
I mean, it would make sense
Yeah.
that they did.
Yeah.
Because that's what's featured throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, that was a beautiful version. It was a beautiful rendition. Yeah, I thought it was great.
That also threw me for a surprise, and I was like, you know what, this is pretty banger.
Yeah.
Or as the kids are now saying, it's fire.
It's fire. Yeah. It's lit. The Beatles are lit. Hot take.
The Beatles.
Yeah. Beatles. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say. John, thank you. Thank you for being here. I was so
Thank you for letting me bully you guys to making me come on this one.
No, I was so excited when I saw that you want to do Kubo. I was like, hell yeah. Like I was worried because again, like I didn't know many people who knew about it. So when you're like, you wanted to do it, I was like, okay, great. I love when someone like volunteers and really wants to do something. Thanks for coming back.
I feel like if your listeners have listened to this whole episode, we're 57 minutes into this or whatever, like, and you still haven't watched this movie, what are you doing with your life?
What's going on? Yeah, seriously.
Well, thanks for listening.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like, seriously, the animation of this, the detail that they did, and you can tell, like we all know, we've all heard about The Nightmare Before Christmas with how much work went into just a scene. But like to see all of this and like to be inspired by a different culture, like I feel like you just need to see it.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to do it justice describing it. You just have to experience it yourself.
It's an hour and a half. You're in and you're out. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And music plays such an important part of it too.
Yeah.
But like it's not all it's all original. It feels like it doesn't feel, except for when they cover While My Guitar Gently Weeps, obviously. But like all the other stuff that he's playing while he's telling the story is very fascinating, and it also like plays up with your emotions while watching it. So
yeah, without a doubt. I think it's great. I mean, even as like I said, I wasn't like super into the story the whole time. Like you talked about the grandpa and that like shift at the end. I was like, all right, whatever. Like these people are just like the best people in the world. Like, yeah, you're fine. But I'm still glad that I saw it though, because it's like it's a beautiful movie. Just one of the best like stop motions that I've ever seen, from an artistic standpoint. So definitely worth checking out. So yeah, thanks again for coming on to chat about it.
Thank you for having me. I always love coming on here.
Yeah,
it's great.
I mean, we look forward to our Honey Boy whenever we can.
Oh, Honey Boy is back again. Don't worry, I'll be back for future episodes, everyone.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Would you want to tell people where they can find you and your pods?
So Life's But a Song, my musical-based podcast, you can find it anywhere. I mean, both of them you can listen to anywhere you're listening to this. But all the socials are at But a Song Pod, and for Movie Deja Vu, most of the socials are at Movie Deja Vu Pod.
Cool.
So
nice. Oh yeah, make sure we have all those links. But yeah, thanks again, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks
everyone for listening, and we will see you next week as we start a new round, which I'm very excited about. And I don't know what it is off the top of my head, so it's a surprise even for me. We'll see. Come back next week.
Can we do one more? Yeah.
Let's go out on a high note. So yeah. Thanks for your support. See you next week.
Yeah.
Freeze frame. Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Sweet.
But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain and an athlete
and a basket case, a princess
and a criminal. Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Don't